Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Let me introduce myself. My name is Nurul Azizah, and now I want to present my draft proposal. The title is Exploring the Effectiveness of Using Films as a Vocabulary Learning Tool in EFL Classroom. Okay, first, the background of the research problem. Learning vocabulary is a crucial aspect of acquiring English as a foreign language or EFL. Traditional method can be word-based and lack engagement. Films offer a rich source of authentic language and context, potentially enhancing vocabulary learning. This research investigates the effectiveness of using films as a vocabulary learning tool in the EFL classroom. Next, to make the research achieve the expected findings, it needs the question that become a metric in research. The research questions are: 1. To what extent does using film in the EFL classroom improve students' vocabulary acquisition? 2. How do students perceive the use of films in learning EFL vocabulary? 3. Are all types of films suitable for use in vocabulary learning in EFL classes? Next, the purpose of the research is: 1. To assess the impact of film-based vocabulary instruction on EFL learners' vocabulary knowledge. 2. To explore students' attitudes and experience toward using film for vocabulary learning. Okay, next, supporting theory for research variables. Schema theory is a strong theoretical framework to support this research. Variables in exploring the effectiveness of films for vocabulary learning in the EFL classroom. Using schema theory by Rumelhart, 1980 as the supporting theory for this research on film-based vocabulary learning in the EFL classroom strengthens this framework. Schema theory by Rumelhart proposed that our knowledge is organized into mental structures called schemata. These schemata hold information about concepts and their relationships. Next, the research design. A quasi-experimental design would be appropriate for this research, as it allows for the comparison of two groups, is experimental and control, under similar conditions, while acknowledging that random assignment of participant to groups might not be feasible. Next, population and sample. Population, EFL learners of a specific age group and proficiency level, high school student with intermediate English in SMKN 3 Padang, and sample a manageable group selected from the population that reflects the characteristics of the target population by 30 students participants. Next, instruments of the research is vocabulary pretest and post-test. This can be standardized tests or researcher developed tests that assess student knowledge of target vocabulary word before and after the interventions. The format could be multiple choice, definition matching, sentence completion, and etc. Ensure the test target the vocabulary conferred in the film-based instruction. Next, the data collecting techniques. Pretest administration. Administer the vocabulary pretest to the entire sample group. Next, implementation of film-based vocabulary instruction. Deliver the film-based lesson as explained within the experimental group. Next, post-test administration. Administer the vocabulary post-test to entire sample group. And the last, the data analysis, quantitative data. Analyze pretest and post-test scores using descriptive statistics, mean, standard deviation, to understand the distribution of scores in each group. If using a non-equivalent control group design. Next, conduct inferential statistics. For example, independent samples t-test for non-equivalent groups, pair samples t-test for pretest post-test design with one group to determine if there statistically significant difference in vocabulary knowledge between the groups, experimental versus control, or within the same group with pre-test versus post-test. Okay, that is my presentation about my draft proposal. Thank you for your time. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.